Big game. Should a playoff team lose to Zach Wilson? 91% of you say no. People in the Woodward Sports Chat's thread, though, said, well, I guess the Bills aren't making the playoffs because they did lose.
They did.
What are you more
Wilson.
worried about, defending the end zone or defending your mom against Zach Wilson?
248. No, but that plays into it, guys. You know what This team beat the Bills. I'm just saying, they did.
Hey, they're a dangerous team still. I mean, I think we all agree. We all expect the Lions to win, except one person in the room who shall not be named right now. But the Jets are dangerous. They have an elite defense. They did beat the Bills, but they're a hell of a lot less dangerous with Mike White, with Zach Wilson as their quarterback instead of Mike White.
Abe, play the part. Here's your time to shine, man. I know you're crushed. I know you're absolutely crushed by the news that Mike White is not playing.
I threw up right outside. Yeah.
Pave the way. Break it. What's a New York guy's take on it?
I threw up because Zach Wilson's playing this game. That's the end of it. You talked about it at length, how the Jets defense, elite. And I know all the storylines of they only played certain quarterbacks and all. That's cool. But the Jets defense is absolutely elite, top 3 in the NFL, and there's no question about it. I know you read off those stats.
Yeah.
5th in sacks and only pressure 15% of the time. And you
That's
can do
an incredible
that.
number.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And it's not just Quinnen Williams and his 11 sacks. It's also a 10-man fresh rotation that is constantly going in and out. And I mentioned this with the heavyweights last night. On Madden, you play your top 4 defensive linemen 100% snaps at a time, right? The great players, the Bosas, the Watts, even Hutchinson, he's on the field 85, 90% of the time. And what happens late in the fourth quarter? We're all human beings. We get tired. They're getting beat up. You're going to lose a step. It's a natural thing to happen. But what if you only played 60% of those snaps? Now in the fourth quarter, you're rejuvenated. You still have gas in the tank. And the Jets can do that because they play a 10-man rotation of not just, nice little guys that can get there every now and then. We're talking about 10 NFL starters on any other team. If Bryce Huff, who's the Jets' number 4 D end, was here in Detroit, he'd be your starting left end. Then there's no question about it. So that's the rotation on the defense that's just constantly elite. And then you have the back end, Sauce Gardner. I mean, he might be the best corner in all of football.
All right, what about this? Because you're getting lit up right now.
I love this.
Yeah, I know you do. God says Amon-Ra is going to catch 10 on Sauce. Book it. But Sauce won't be on Amon-Ra.
Sauce won't be on Amon-Ra.
No, here's the question, right? So Carter, right, is your slot receiver?
The slot corner, Michael Carter.
Slot corner,
yeah.
Right? Exactly, whatever. He's going to see a lot. That's like we're going to have to.
He will.
Do you have exploitations in your defense? So if you're sitting in enemy territory right now, what are you worried about from this Lions team? Like to defend, right? Because he's going to pick you off in that in between. That zone read, soft read. You guys, the one thing that you guys haven't been good at is your red zone. Right. Defense this year. So, what are you worried about from us as Lions?
The big thing that stops the Jets is the slot receiver, and that's really any NFL team because that's got to be the hardest position to defend. You're as a corner playing against a slot receiver.
All the routes are angled.
Right. All the receivers knows what they're doing, has all this movement to go, all these places to go, and you can't touch them for the most part.
Right.
So you're pretty limited as a slot cornerback. And that's where Amon-Ra worries me. But the Jets' defense has been built in a way where they don't let anything behind them. LaMarcus Joyner is that center field free safety. Nothing gets behind him. So if nothing's getting behind you and Amon-Ra's in the slot, yeah, he'll beat Michael Carter, but he's not going to have all this green space ahead of him to go for an explosive 70-yard play. I said yesterday, I think Amon-Ra goes 8 catches for 60 yards, where it's a very respectable game, and I don't think Amon-Ra is a bad player by any means. It's a respectable game, but the other receivers on the outsides they're going to be suffocated.
Talking with our guy Abe in Southfield, he's a Jets slappy. We figured, hey, let's go to the source on it here.
So do you have a Jets win in this game? What's your floor?
I did until an hour ago.
Okay, so you're like me then.
So I mean, I'm just looking at the stats. Somebody graciously said that Zach Wilson's PFF is them take it for what it is, 37.7. The bottom line is Zach Wilson's worse than Russell Wilson.
But they're
He's
5-2 with them as a
brothers.
starter. Like it's incredible to me.
What?
They're 5-2 with them as a
they
starter.
play
Sam
hard,
Flannel
because
broke it
what
down.
Abe just told you about the rest of the team is that they play in spite of him.
They do win in spite of him. Yeah.
And they have been. So do
biggest
you
thing-
play anything? What do you take as a Jets fan? Because you had to be just stoked, right? Where Salah made that quarterback change to Mike White.
Loved it.
But is there anything in the locker room? Because these guys think this guy's just a toolbox?
It scares the crap out of me that the locker room absolutely hates Zach Wilson. When he made those comments,
Do you hate him as a fan?
I am not a Zach Wilson fan anymore. I loved Zach Wilson coming out of college, even rookie year, which was
Even with
very
that
shaky.
confused face on the draft stage,
You found out
draft night.
about his shenanigans
I was
with
all in
him.
on-
You were all in even more.
I
Right?
was all in on Zach Wilson until he said those magic words
After the
when
Patriot,
asked that question, is it your fault? And he said no. Once he said that, and I went out there and I said, he should never play again because he has completely lost the faith of his teammates.
Wow. A lot of people are asking about Jameson Williams in your scenarios.
I'm not worried. I'm not. Let's be real. Jameson Williams has how many career catches?
One for a touchdown.
One catch.
But it's 41 yards every time he touches the ball.
on a broken play against Minnesota. Minnesota's really bad pass defense.
Worst in the league.
I
You're
don't
not worried
expect,
about his speed?
No, because
Okay.
what did Tyreek Hill didn't do anything against us.
Okay. It's a
Well, yeah,
question.
with Skylar Thompson as their quarterback.
Hey, if Tyreek Hill is fast enough
So
to
give
get
me a
past the
final
corner,
score, bro.
I had 20-17 Jets yesterday. I'm going 17-14 Jets.
Oh, he couldn't do
I couldn't
it.
do it. I can't do it.
14 points.
I can't do it. Yeah, look at the Jets defense. I know the Lions have a great offense. I'm not arguing that. But so do the Bills. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football. If the
No,
Lions
he's
had
not.
Josh Allen, you guys would be, who
You know what
knows
this
what
game comes down to? Even more so, right? That we're saying all that, it's a turnover battle. Even more so than anything else,
100%.
right? Like if
100%.
that's where you're looking to score points.
And that's
from your
like when you
defense.
start getting the analytics of things, that's where it bothers me. Like as a Lions fan and sitting here, rooting for the Lions is those turnover splits, home versus road. I mean, but it's like that for everybody, right? Like it's teams turn the ball over on the road. They just do.
Absolutely. And when the Jets were winning those games with Zach Wilson, he was playing mistake-free football.
Right.
Those losses are when he threw 3 picks to New England and threw for 2 yards in the second half. Lots of I can't hear.
Hey,
him,
but it wasn't his fault.
Lots of mistakes. Right. No, but Zach Wilson, throwing against a good Miami defense, they put up 40. If he plays mistake-free football and they run the ball a lot and shorten the game, I think that plays into the Jets' hands over the Lions' hands.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Jonathan Anton, get him off. He's worse than Maz.
I'm a realist. I think the Jets have a great defense and a real Jets home. I've been listening to Jets shows just like I listen to you guys every day.
Right.
There's plenty of Jets fans that are saying, "Oh, this is the Lions, 35-10. We got this in the bag." There are those fans out there. I don't.
You watch both teams, bro. So
I do watch both
realize that this is like a matchup. And I said this earlier. This isn't out of the realm to say these teams are building the culture to get there, that this could someday be a Super Bowl matchup.
And I said this last night. Both teams are in very similar trajectories, where I think we're both a year ahead of time where we expected to be in meaningful December football. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That we're both a year ahead of schedule.
Yeah, yours was more apparent out of the gate. Ours sort of like
Lions were
was
1-6
playing
and they were
catch-up.
dead.
But through 13 games, we're both in that 6-7
Sort of like Neil
win.
catching the
100%.
team bus
No, that I
in the
agree
morning
with.
to the airport after a night out.
Woodward, hey, now you're hitting close to home. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Ryan Day, get this clown out of the studio. Jeremy Anderson, now he knows everybody hates him. I don't know if they're talking about Abe or Zach Wilson. Either or, it's pretty much the same thing
Most
right
people
now.
hate me. I'm okay with it.
Sleeping kind AOF. This guy's living in the sky. Rich Gibson says Abe equals Homer. No, I just like to get the the opposing point of view. Plug the podcast, man. I've been on it before. Plug the podcast.
Well, I appreciate that. DFS Uncensored. Part
But you're a
the,
big daily fantasy sports guy.
a big daily fantasy sports. Me and your good friend Booner. Booner's one of my co-hosts on the show, along with Nick Faber, who a lot of you probably know from Honolulu Blues. We host a daily fantasy football podcast every week. And if you don't like me but like Lions fans like Booner,
then you're in there.
I recommend checking it out. We don't only talk Lions and Jets. It's mostly everywhere around the NFL, helping everybody win money, which at the end of the day is what we all like doing.
Absolutely. Appreciate you sliding through, Abe, for sure.
Always.
Thanks, man.